Hey, Legolas.
Yes.
What book is this?
Oh, why yes. The Theory of Evolution. I'm glad you asked.
What the heck is the theory of evolution?
In short, it can be described as a process of slow change and development.
How would you know?
I should know. I'm a high school senior.
Well, that's too bad. I gotta put a credible source in this video. The almighty Yang does not approve of you.
If you insist, we'll just put those sources to good use.
Natural
selection.
We'll be using the modern biology textbook from Holtz, Reinhardt, and Winston, written by John H. Postlethwaite and Janet L. Hobson.
Natural selection is a scientific theory founded by Charles Darwin, stating the traits among species will become more or less common among them, depending on their reproductive successfulness and the environment that they interact with.
The dude's trying to say that natural selection is about how the organisms that survive to get all the babes will have their traits passed down for generations to come. Let's say that there's two people, a tall person and a short person. These people have to grab some fruit from the tree, since it's the only food around. The tall guy is going to be able to grab the food easily, but the short guy won't be able to grab the food at all.
Basically, the tall character will be considered more successful and will most likely be naturally selected to continue its genetics of tallness, as long as the mutation survives genetically.
The tall person makes tall babies, and the short person dies too early, so there's not really any short babies around. But on the subject of mutations,
it's a permanent change to the genetics of a specific organism, generally an anomaly.
it's when a baby is born with different genes than their parents. Well, in a natural selection sense. I guess he can mutate into a Spider-Man or something, but that's a different kind of mutation than what we're talking about.
Mutations can affect you in different ways. There can be beneficial mutations.
Adaptations? It's when the mutation helps out the organism and the environment. Like the baby of the short person having genes for tallness, allowing them to eat more fruit and survive to make more babies. Genes are a whole nother topic, but for now, let's just say that genes are building blocks. Everyone has genes, and when people make babies, some of each parent's building blocks combine to make the baby's building blocks. Sex!
And then there are negative mutations, which could potentially harm its chances of survival.
Tall person making short baby.
There's also mutations that don't affect them whatsoever and will only continue to exist if they come with successful traits. Not everything is black and white when it comes to natural selection. Just because they survive doesn't mean they don't have negative traits or unneeded traits that have no use, like the appendix for an example. It exists because it was useful in our ancestors, but now is a useless organ that has become a medical nuisance.
Now let's get a bit deeper. Let's talk about the fruit from the tree. Let's say the fruit is inside of the tree, and that the organisms that eat this fruit are birds. Now, birds use their beaks to eat food, but there are different kinds of beaks, and these different kinds have different limitations to them.
Each beak has been evolved to collect a certain fruit of their area, but they are reciprocally unable to collect the other fruit where they don't live.
To collect certain fruits from certain areas, they have to have the appropriate characteristics within their beaks. If a bird has to reach inside of a tree, it has to be able to stick its beak in the tree and able to grab the fruit. So, in this case, short stubby beaks won't be able to reach inside the tree, but long thin beaks will be able to reach. This means the birds with the short and stubby beaks will starve to death if they don't find a better food source, or adapt to it.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey Lego,
Yeah.
remember when we were violating women's personal space and asking them out?
Oh yes, back in the good old days.
I think I got more babes than you.
Why is that?
Well, I think it's because I like my nice, big traits. You know, my black hair and my hairy body, as well as my big nose.
Lovely.
I bet they didn't like your traits. Brunette hair, smooth skin, thin nose. I was quite the competition for you, wasn't I?
I'm sure you were.
You know, if you, me, and all those women we bothered were alone on an island, I think that future generations would tend to have my traits in them. Because, you know, I got so many chances of mating.
Well, that would be sexual selection,
What?
also known as non-random selection.
You know what, Lego? We're done. We've tried so hard to make this work, but it just doesn't work.
What did you mean?
Our relationship is over. We're not compatible. We've tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't even matter anymore. I'm leaving you.
No, not now. We have a video to finish.
Sorry, Lego, but we must move on.